Una novia que se nascete contra nota, pero ni se que te conjuta, que se namita, que te da nota. Buenas tardes, Yannis, Pappas. Ahora, ¿qué pasa, mi gente? Ya parecita, gracias cielos, muchos grandes consuelos con cachapas, con Venezuela, etcétera, etcétera. Una novia. ¿Qué te da novia? ¿Qué te hace novia? Y la dindaña, que novia. Se quedó novia. I used to do this podcast in English. Now I want to do it in not a second language, but a third language, a new language called Mumble Spanish. Mumble Spanish sounds. People are pissed off. People are not pissed off. ¿Quién es la novia? Y se le pone y te la cota. ¿Qué eres el santo? ¿Qué eres tanto? What did it all mean? What did it all mean? How much of a political statement was made? We don't know. I don't know. That's the best part about it. He could have been saying barbecue all the Chinese, and I was still like this. I spent time in Miami. I love it, bro. Listen, just get used to it, papi. Listen, Spanish is a second language, baba. Listen to me, baba, yo pa. Listen to me, papi. Listen, bro. Listen, bro. You're going to have to welcome Spanish, bro. Listen, they here, bro. I think we should make America just the whole continent, and that would be great. 3 languages. I have a joke like this, I've told. We got English, which is the worst beautiful of the 3. And then you got Quebec speaking French. And then you have South America speaking Spanish. We get rid of that like Portuguese, faji. We don't need that. Just take it all. We need to do something to combat Chinese. If we unify the whole continent, I think it would be great. Just one big Levi's country. North America brought to you by Levi's. You know how the stadium, we had the Super Bowl was at Levi's Stadium. You don't need Levi's Stadium. You don't need it. Everyone already knows about Levi's. You don't have to do any more advertising for Coca-Cola. Do you think people will stop drinking Coke if you don't see advertisers? The word is out. Everyone buys Levi's. The jeans are great. There was a little quick second where everyone was going for that designer jean phase, and then you just went, Levi's just does it better for $60. We all know Levi's. You don't need to name the stadium Levi. You don't need to name the T-Mobile Arena. You don't. Poor people already know about T-Mobile. You don't need it. Stadium should be called the Team Stadium. When I go to see the Padres, I want to go to Padre Stadium. I want to go to Yankee Stadium. I want to go to Shea. I don't know who Shea is, but it was probably some Irish chick who rolled up her Catholic school dress and gave amazing blowies. Kelly O'Shea. Yeah, put your ultra in, Jess. Jesse's not a nicotine, but he's an ultra. It should be Met Stadium. It should be the 49ers Stadium. I'm sick of the marketing. It's a little much. They went too far when they decided they wanted to just slap their name on a stadium. Do you want to go to Jimmy John's Field? No, I don't. Jimmy John's is a sandwich. But we got to just embrace it. You just have to understand. You have to understand one simple politically incorrect fact. And that fact is liberal women do not want to have children. And this is not a political statement. I'm just telling you what is happening. It has nothing to do with politics here. It has nothing to do with the West or East. The same thing is happening in Japan. The same thing is happening in Europe. The same thing is actually happening in China, if you will believe that. So it has nothing to do with politics. In America, in the coastal cities, it's obviously... I say liberal women when I zoom in and I say America because conservative women still feel like it's Jesus' duty. They got to reproduce. The Catholics feel like they still no abortion or whatever. This is a time where if you're pro-choice, it just lets you know morality is always flexible and a little contextual, right? Like sometimes you go, oh, murder is okay. If you're in war and somebody's trying to kill you or you get invaded, nobody's going, Ukraine, stop that, right? They're killing people, but you understand, like, it's contextual, right? A friend of mine who's very liberal the other day said, did you hear about that boxer, the Egyptian boxer that the liberal media scolded everyone again about? Did you hear that she may not be a full-blown man by your modern definition, but she's got a Y chromosome, which means she had to decrease her testosterone at some point. So she might have been identified as birth. This is according to her, according to Imam Khalif or whomever. We at least know, no matter what, she's from Egypt. No, she's Algerian. She's an Algerian boxer, not Egyptian. Why did people think she was Egyptian, or did she fight for Egypt?
No, I think you said Egypt, and that's what I searched.
Oh, okay. Yeah, she's Algerian. And we remember that. This was the Olympics, right? It was the big hoo-ha. The Italian chicks started crying, and all the liberals were going boo-hoo-hoo. You see, and that's the empathetic party. But when the liberal cry, or the woman cries, they go, fuck you. It's the party of peace until Charlie Kirk gets shot in the neck, and they go, good. It's all contextual, right? So I was talking to my friend about this, and I said, did you hear she had a Y chromosome? And he go, oh, yeah, I heard that. And so I go, yeah, it's crazy, right? And he's like, yeah, I guess it's crazy. But, he didn't, he was, he doesn't want, he wants to skirt it. He doesn't want to talk about it. It's threatening his identity, threatening his worldview. And I go, yeah, it's like, I was like, at this point, I think it's just, wouldn't it be just easier if we just we separated sports by, we didn't have to bring scientists into it, and we just separated sports by your sex and not your gender identity, even if you accept gender identity? Wouldn't it just be easier? And he goes, but what are you going to do with them, though? What are you going to do with the variated people? And I went, fuck them. And he was like, yo! He went, that's not cool. And I went, like, sometimes, if there's millions and millions and millions of girls and they just want to be able to compete against other girls, what is there, like 5 of these trans people, or 10 or 20? Maybe you just go, fuck them, they can't. And he went, what the fuck, dude? You're not thinking of those 10 or 50 people. What are we going to do with them? And I went, dude, I want to be a professional boxer. Like, I want to be a professional baseball player. I want to play with the girls. I want to do things too. But, like, fuck me, right? All the things I want, sometimes you go, fuck me. Sometimes you go, that's not your league. I don't know what to tell you. Be sad about it. Try something else. I don't know. Some people have to become taxi drivers. Do you think they had dreams to become taxi drivers? I don't know. You can't just go into an easier league. Now, the trans man, I've said this many times, you see, that's the thing. The male league is there's no, it's like, can you compete? So fine. But this whole thing where we're rolling out the scientists to measure testosterone levels and fuck, if you have to get science involved, fucking maybe that's getting a little complicated. So as it turns out, according to her, or according to whatever, the PR of this or whatever, because everyone was going, the fucking IBF's probably lying, fucking they're racist, whatever, they're sexist, whatever. But the IBF obviously said she got banned because, boom, they did some blood tests and they're like, hey, it's man, baby. But she's going, okay, there's this rare condition where you get a Y chromosome, but the penis doesn't develop. You get a little clit. And if you're in Egypt, they take that off for you. But she's not in Egypt, she's in Algeria. And so the penis doesn't fully develop, but you have the Y chromosome, something like this, where you do go through some sort of male puberty because of the Y chromosome, which is what makes a man, and a woman doesn't have the Y chromosome. They have the Y. Sometimes you just can do the eye test. And when this chick was celebrating, you were going like, sup, brah? Sometimes you could just go, sup, brah. Like, I sometimes believe that I think the way you address someone should be based on the eye test. Like, if I say, hey, what's going on? This lady's great. And she goes, I'm actually a dude. I go, you've earned your stripes at your pronoun. Don't you have to, if you want those pronouns, then you got to earn them. How come the pronoun, even sir? It's like, don't call me sir. It's like, yeah, you're not a sir. When you want to be respectful, you call someone sir. That person is usually someone who commands respect for whatever you call them, sir. It's an earned thing. When you say, this girl over here or she over there, she earned it because you're looking at her and she's got tits. She's earned it. You're attracted to her or not. Or you'd bang her in a pinch. Or after a couple brews. Whatever it is, she's earned it. So if you can fool me, I'll call you she. But if I see you and my instinct is, sup, brah? Why do I have to be forced against my instinct? I'm kidding. I'm making jokes. But my point is, why has this gotten so, complicated, right? It's like, because now what she's admitted is, yes, I have this Y chromosome, I have this rare condition or whatever. Okay, blah. So maybe that should just be like, fuck, tough luck, There's a bunch of people with Down syndrome who would want to be in the regular Olympics too. But that's based on certain criteria, right? And I only bring that up, it's a category. You can't go like, I was raised Downy, You just got to stick to what you are. And we can kind of eye test it. You don't got to bring out the fucking measuring tape and the vials and the guys in the lab coats. If you have to increase or decrease testosterone in order to compete in the women's category, how about no? If you want to do all that fucking Gargamel shit, throw it in the men's. Throw him in the men's. Jack him up with testosterone. I don't care. Let the baseball players take testosterone. I don't give a shit what happens in the men's because it's just there's something okay with watching a man get his face beaten up. That's not okay when you watch a woman get beat. It's just something instinctual. But so she's admitted I have the Y chromosome. This is this rare 1 in a million condition, 1 in 30,000, 1 in 50,000. It's called something. But also, what we find out is she's had to decrease testosterone in order to meet eligibility. So right there, can we just not do that? Can we just go, hey, do you want to be a lady? We'll go practice, go train. Basically, she's training to be a lady because she has to decrease testosterone to meet eligibility. And I know what you're saying. You're going, there's some ladies that got higher testosterones than others. So what? If they got a pocket pussy, fuck it. Some chicks have more testosterone. Some guys have more estrogen. Fuck it. She's got a pussy. She doesn't have a Y chromosome. She's got a pussy and no Y chromosome. That's my point. If you have to decrease your testosterone because you don't have the male or female, the two sex, why make it a thing? Now, my original point was, he was like, what are you going to do with them? And what I realized by that is, liberals are very into performative empathy. I've realized that. Into theoretical empathy, And it's not necessarily performative to look cool or fit in. It's theoretical. And anything theoretical is always performative because it's not experiential. It's performative. Because I was thinking about it. It's always like these big theories that they go by. Like, so then what do you do with them was his question, right? And in my mind, I was going, this is a perfect example of what I've noticed with younger people, more theoretical people, more practical people all across the spectrum. You have a theory, right? Like when you're a kid, you have a theory. And then you experience something. And then you marry that theory with your experience. And then something different comes out. And you have a different third opinion, And you go, I'm different now because I've experienced something which changed my theory. I filtered it through reality. I ran it through the strainer of reality, and it either holds up perfect or it doesn't. Now, if you go, what do you do with this, girls? I don't know. Just got to let her compete, whatever. But you also don't have an answer. They kind of also don't have an answer, which is interesting. They just yell slogans. Like trans women are women. You're going, okay, but we're still not addressing the fact that chick who's 6'4" just won another high school 100 meters. We're still not addressing that. And how we all are pretending that we don't think something's awry. And then I thought, here's a perfect example. If I was to say to this person, your daughter, it's your daughter now. And your daughter trained to box all that. And she gets in the ring with this person. How would you feel? She trained, she worked, she ran, she wanted to win the 100, she wanted to get this, and she gets beat, and you find out that person has XY chromosomes in this rare case. According to her, it could just be that this person's trans. But according to her, she was raised as a girl, and she has a very rare condition where she is a girl, but also a boy, or whatever. One of these kind, but it's not intersex, it's a rare condition. But how would you feel if it was your daughter? Is it okay if your daughter's upset, or would you force her not to be upset? If she said, hey, I don't think that's fair, would you talk? Like what, how would you feel different? I suspect you would. I think you would. I think if you were even arguing with me right now in your own head or in the comment section or wherever fucking very rare places you're listening to this, you're trying to, in your head, go, I would fucking just say, it's fucking everyone's this. And you just got to train harder. Would you? And I know it's bullshit. I know you know it's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. Just like when they put a fat woman on the front of Women's Health and they said, like, healthy. Remember those? There was a few of those covers where it's like, healthy. I know that's bullshit. I know we've kind of gone off the deep end with utopian empathy. I know that. I know it. Because this is like the ABC's 1, 2, 3s. I mean, we're arguing the ABCs of the 1, 2, 3s at this point. So this was an interesting thing because it came back and it's the Olympics, and at this time she admitted it. And then, so of course the right is going like, what the fuck? And the left is still just going, she's a woman. Like I saw the arguments, the back and forth on X, but they're calling for her to rescind her gold. The IOC pressure to rescind boxers' women gold medal after male chromosome disclosure. She does have a male chromosome. Now, should we go to the doctors and find out all the fucking, because that's the other side. It's like, well, it's a complicated issue. It was never a complicated issue until technology could make boys into girls. It was never a complicated issue. For nature, it's not a complicated issue. So maybe we just leave sports to nature. Maybe we just do that. Like sleep. We just let it do what it does. Because it was never a complicated issue before this. If you had a little more testosterone, nobody could test it. You were still a chick. They knew you were a chick. And you had an advantage because of your testosterone, fine. But I bet you a lot of times those chicks with a little more testosterone who were women, who actually competed with other women, sometimes lost because they just weren't as good of an athlete or a sport or whatever. So their advantage didn't work, but that doesn't mean anything because they were still both chicks. So even if they won, whatever, it's nature's advantage. Now we're talking to a team of scientists, running it through a fucking lab, finding out if we can get this person who was born a man at birth, if we could artificially, which is what it is, get his her testosterone levels down to that of a woman for an equal playing field. It seems a little complicated. Do they have an advantage? Well, it's complicated. They go through male puberty. Just scrap the whole fucking thing so we can focus on China. What's up, guys? I got a Lucy in right now. You know me if you watch the show, and you know that I'm just a kid who loves nicotine. There's no other way to say it. So Lucy, they love endorsing my show because they know that I'm a good customer. They're like, oh, when you want to convert people, you use the people who love your product. And I love Lucy. I love subscribing. I love signing up, and just it comes to my house, and that's the best way I like it. Whenever I'm out, I buy it. I love the flavors. They got the best flavors. The green apple, is one of my favorites when I'm in that mood. What I like is you can it's like the flavors I go by mood. I always do espresso in the morning. I do the green apple. Midday, delicious flavors, and the breakers, You know, those breakers you bite down, it gives you an extra explosion of flavor, the Lucy breakers. These are nicotine pouches, my friends. Okay? I'm up to 8 mgs. Because, you know, I've been doing it a little while. But they got 4 different, there's different levels of potency. 4, 6, 8, whatever you want. So what you got to do is Lucy's the only pouch that gives you long-lasting flavor whenever you need it. Get 20% off your first order when you buy online with the code Yannis. And if you don't want to wait, just head to lucy.co/stores to find Lucy near you and grab it today. And here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. Listen, baby, Hims is the way to go. It is confidential. It is all online. Hims can do it for you. If you are looking for personalized prescription treatment for ED, erectile dysfunction, then hit up Hims. They offer access to ED treatment options ranging from personalized products to trusted generics that cost 95% less than the brand names if prescribed. That's why Hims is a no-brainer if this is relevant to you. You shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. Hims brings expert care straight to you with 100% online access to personalized treatments that put your goals first. It's not a one-size-fit-all. It's very personal. They don't forget you in the waiting room. That's what's great. They hook you up with a medical provider and make sure you get what you need to get results. So right now, it's very simple to get online access for personalized, affordable care for ED, also hair loss, weight loss, and more. Visit hims.com/Yannis. That's hims.com/Yannis for your free online visit. hims.com/Yannis. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information. Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. My original point was you're going to have to accept the Spanish language. You're going to have to accept the fact that once you get to a level of comfort in your empire, your civilization, or whatever you want to call it, your society, you got to understand that people don't want to grow up and they don't want to have kids. And our countries are, it's a true thing. This isn't just a right-wing talking point. First of all, those people were going, Jews will not replace us. Remember that? And I want to go like, yeah, there's not enough of them, asshole. I don't think you got to worry about Jews replacing you. Who's going to replace you are Latins. And they already are. And it's whatever. Nobody's having 10 kids anymore. What do you want me to do? Greece just came out and they're trying to figure out what they're going to do because their population is below replacement levels. Japan's is below. We've done previous episodes about this. So my point is, like, Billy Bob or fucking Kid Rock or whatever the fuck, just deal with it. Go to Miami. You actually will enjoy it more than you think you will. Birth to death gap has hit a historic low. What country? Is this Greece, right? Yeah, I read a big article about it. Like they're trying to figure out what to do about it. Nearly 23% of the population is over 65. By 2050, more than 1 in 3 Greeks is expected to be over 65. So there's just no people. There's no new people coming in. They're all busy throwing Molotov cocktails. Nobody's starting families and preparing for the next generation. It's a very selfish world now. We've gotten to such a level of comfort that we don't want to pass it on. We're just all trying to hold on and live for as long as possible. You got this fucking guy who obviously is having a mental health crisis trying to make himself live as long as possible. What's his name? Brian Johnson. And now he's hawking some fucking supplement. And his whole life, every day is spent sacrificing any joy. And he says, this is what actually makes me happy. You obviously need to see a team of psychiatrists and maybe take a low dose. Because this is an overcompensation. It's what you call extreme behavior. Even Even stars die. Galaxies die. If we're going to stretch it a little bit, that's fine. But it's very natural to die. Only in a time period where comfort has gotten so fucking obscene would anyone even be considering trying to be here forever. Oh, let me upload my consciousness. Let me do whatever. Can't you just move on and accept that energy is never created to destroy it? And don't you want to be part of the air? Don't you want to be worm food? This is infinity exists. We know that mathematically. Infinity exists. We know at the fundamental level, the quark level, we're all made of the same shit that constantly keeps getting recycled into different things. Energy is not created, destroyed. You die, your gases go up, you become worm food. You're still in it. There's no disappearing. So calm down. There's no such thing as disappearing. You disappear, but the shit that makes you up, it's like all the things you can't see in the water. They're there. Your senses can only see water. But if you were able to see at the microscopic level, there's gazillions of living things in there. There's a gazillion living things in me right now. So don't think you have all the answers. Just relax and stop trying to live forever. Because, in the 1930s, they weren't trying to live forever. They were like, oh, God, I just want to make it 40. But they were preparing to keep it moving and give back and find some fulfillment, So this is just where the privileged world is at right now. And the non-privileged world is doing what we all used to do, fucking at an incredible rate. So call it an invasion, call it whatever you will, whatever you want, call it a necessity. It's going to happen, and it's happening, and there's nothing that can be done about it, or else there's just going to be no people in Greece. So that's what it comes down to. Can you imagine how easy you'll be able to conquer Greece when 1 out of 3 people is 65 and over? This is when you got to get mercenaries. When you don't want to do the job yourself, or you don't want to sacrifice, you don't want to have kids. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I know it's upsetting, but have you been alive for more than 10 days? It's upsetting. Kids cry a lot when they're babies because there's bacteria and virus trying to kill them every moment of every day. And if you're lucky enough to have a good immune system, you can stick around for a little while. But some people don't, and they just get fucking wiped out. I know it's upsetting, but you see, that's where we've gotten to. We've gotten to the point where common sense things that everyone used to just know and accept, right, has become upsetting to people because people don't want to deal with bad stuff. They don't want to deal with the bad aspect of life. They just want to stay on this 100% high, this dopamine lift at all times. They've forgotten that the sadness is beautiful because the sadness defines the happiness, and the death defines the life, and uncertainty defines certainty. Everyone has forgotten what we're here for, and that is to love, live, connect, and reproduce and die. Things that we used to accept now upset people, because they're living in a delusion based on how good we have things, and you're living like digitally now, which seems infinite, but guess what? You're still a biologic meat bag who can get taken out at any point by a Chinese-created virus or a drone once those start coming over. So my point is, Ellen Goo's a traitor. Eileen Goo. Stop at the U. Eileen Goo is a traitor. She was an American. We don't know anything about her father. If you don't know what Eileen Goo is, she's a freestyle skater, and she was born to a very Chinese mother. There's levels of Chinese. Right? There's levels. I remember when I was in preschool, there was a Chinese girl. I went to her house to play. When I was like 4 or 5, and it was her parents were very Chinese. You know what I mean by that? It's like there's a smell in the air, shoes come off. Not a bad smell, a different smell. A smell that's a little off-putting to me, but not to them, That's fine. You get in a Greek taxi cab, there's going to be a smell that's off-putting to you as well if you're not used to it. It wasn't an armpit smell, it's a food smell, a little fishy, little fish, a lot fishy. It's like she's very Chinese. I think her mother was sucking her teeth a little bit. It's Chinese. You know what I'm talking about. She might have even just zoned off and put a finger in her nose. Things that you might see on the train. More than once. If you're from here and you're not allowed to notice patterns, you're not allowed to say stereotypes aren't true. That's not true. Stereotypes are not true. That is true. But stereotypes are mostly true. I've said that before, and that's what it is. It's just they're mostly true. There's a reason why you watch Cooper Flagg play and you go, never really seen that. Why? Because white people don't usually play like that. They don't usually book it with one hand. And why is that? Where did the stereotype come from that white people are shooters? Because most of the white people were shooters. Stereotypes change. They're not locked. They're not all true, but they're mostly true. So my point is, if you're from New York, there used to be a day where I could just say this and everyone would get what I was saying. And we wouldn't have to turn it into a national crisis. It didn't have to be a national crisis to say that if you're on the train, especially in the 90s or the 2000s, I don't know what's going on now. I haven't been on the train in a while. I'm doing better than that. But there was a time where all I did was take the train. The chances of you seeing somebody who was not either special needs or Chinese picking their nose was probably about 0%. So there was a time where that wouldn't cause a national crisis, and the only people who would get mad at me saying that are people who've never been on the New York City train every day. For some reason, Chinese people zone out. Maybe it's because they're so smart or whatever, and you would just catch them digging like nobody else was around. I think part of it is like they almost feel like we're not there or something, or I don't know. They just start digging, dog. We all know that, right? Was there a time where if I said that, it wouldn't be controversial because we've all seen it more than 3 or 4 times? And again, if you're mad at what I'm saying, you're mad at a pattern that is kind of known. You'd have to be on the train every day to know that I'm not saying anything that's crazy. Doesn't mean only Chinese people would pick their nose. But like I said, if it wasn't Chinese, they'd be special needs. The chances would be higher probability. It's just something I saw a lot of. We all did. You know, it's like saying, if there's a lot of noise behind you when a high school lets out, like an aggressive amount of noise. I mean, like where you're like a little shaken up. Not like, woo, hey, like, fucking okay. You're going, whoa. There's a very good chance that those are black teenagers. It's just the probability is going to be high, right? It's just going to be high. And we could go on with the examples. So that's all it is. It's not a big deal. It's just part of life. We're humans. We recognize patterns. We should celebrate those differences. Admit them to a certain extent, but don't go overboard. You know who ruins it? It's the people who use it and go overboard. And then they use it and they go, well, now we got to get rid of them or whatever. You know, the people who just go overboard. People who go overboard are now running the show because it used to be the TV kind of conditions you had to think. Now the algorithm obviously does. And the way the algorithm does it is whoever's in charge of whatever social media site, they decide, hey, we want to get this group, this ecosystem online longer. So they're going to juice those a little bit and forget about the ones who they were juicing before because they're already propped up. So we want to take away their algorithm and they're hooked. So we're going to get them chasing the dragon. Why the fuck's my numbers down? They're going to keep trying. And we're going to boost up these new ones. Like you see now more of the left-wing comedy. It's fucking, it's like 300. It's getting that vibe that I think the alternative stuff during Biden was getting. Because they want everyone hooked, right? But what's happened is the algorithm has made it so it wants to show you to people they know will like you. So everything's become very one-dimensional. They find all the people that say Michelle Obama's a man, or they say, the ICE agent that killed the person, it was her fault, right? And if you find out all those talking points, which are usually, if not always, extreme, and if you just hit all of those in your comedy or whatever and never deviate, Never deviate. What I mean by deviate, and never say anything that would get those people upset. And you could pretty much tell what that might be. Being like, hey, maybe wait a second, maybe the guy shouldn't have killed her. Then you're gonna confuse the algorithm. But if you keep that up, you're gonna get an audience. Same thing on the other side. If you keep everything, you can't say one thing that would upset that big pool, that big silo, that big ecosystem. So that's why, and so it's become very one-dimensional and very extreme because that's how you get seen. You do not get seen going, I agree with this point, but then over here I have more of a nuanced opinion. People go, the algorithm goes, who do I show this to? Who do I show this to? Right? Because these people are clicking it off going, fuck this guy. And then the algorithm goes, what happened? Don't know. Because the algorithm doesn't understand humanity. It just goes, these people are rejecting it. Oh my God, I can't. And then he put it over there and they're like, you're putting a Nazi in my silo? So then you're just like a person. And so everyone is to get an audience is towing the line like never before. Not to be loyal to the party or the people who got them elected, but to like be a slave to visibility based on the CEO of making that happen, which is the algorithm, so to speak. So that's where we are. That's what's happened to everyone. And the Olympics is a time where we can get together and root for our country without killing one another. The Winter Olympics is a time where white people, we can celebrate white sports on white ground. And you can watch countries that are small, but just happen to be in cold places like Norway. And these places just win like 100 gold medals, right? You can watch people with money play their stupid sports. In order to be a speed skater, in order to be a freestyle skater, in order to be a boogie board fucking roof guy, in order to be a curler, you have to have just facilities and equipment that only like fucking legacy family kids, just a horseback rider. You need to be able to own a horse and take care of and feed a horse. You need like 100 acres of land for that horse to roam. So these are the dumb fucking sports that nobody would like otherwise, that are never be popular. You'll never be rich unless you're a Chinese honeypot. You know, so this is where we showcase all that. And we go, oh my God, this girl from Jake Paul's fiance won the speed skating competition. And you look at the person she won it against, and it's some like 3-foot Japanese girl who was probably the only girl in Japan who was able to afford a speed skating ring in her living room. So these aren't really like the top of the line people, because they're just like the small group of rich people who are competing in this very exclusive sport. So we'll never know. Whereas, you know, when you see Ronaldo, you're going, holy shit, everyone plays soccer. And this guy's so much better than everyone. It's such a wide pool of athletes in the world globally. This is truly amazing. When you see some fucking bitch with a fat ass doing this shit, and there's like only 15 athletes who do this in the world, you go and she won and she broke the record, and she's better than the other 14 in a sport nobody gives a fuck about and would never give a fuck about if it wasn't your country or whatever, or if you didn't have a fat ass. She's so fucking hot. But nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Right? Oh, finally, one guy did 5 twirls. Did you know that? Some American did like 5 twirls and a backflip. You know, it's like, great. How long did that take? 100? How long's the Olympics been around? 1,000 years? You know how quickly certain athletes of certain persuasions figured out how to dunk? It took about 7 years until a guy dunked. Finally, a guy did 5. I mean, the bobsledding, how is this a sport? It just looks like a guy who's been shot down through a villain's trapdoor in front of his desk. That's what that sport is, where a villain just goes, pushes a button, and then you shoot through some pipe. And the curling is just like the housekeeper Olympics. It's like, most of it is we're watching someone sweep. So it's good to know what's going on. But what's pissed me off here the most is I brought her up, Eileen Wu. I've been all over the place. Eileen Gu. Her name will be always easy to remember if you finish her last name, how bad it can go. That's what makes it easy to remember. All you got to remember is the word Eileen, but your brain will always remember Gu. Because if you could finish that word and be very naughty and very not a nice person. So Eileen Gu is a traitor to our country, and I'd like to join Donald Trump. If he hasn't called her yet, I want to call her a loser. I want to call her fake. I want to call her whatever. I suspect she's a full-blown honeypot. I suspect her family is a full-blown. Something is amiss here. Something is amiss. And I don't like it. And I don't like somebody being born here, using our country, and then going and competing for our adversary. If she was Greek, I'd be fine with it, right? Whatever. You want to go compete for the Greeks? It would be a little weird if you grew up here, you were born here. You know, it would be a little weird, but maybe you'd have a better chance of making the team and you really have a dream of, competing in the Olympics, fine. But you know what? Greece is our ally. I mean, this is just, but it is confusing because we do a lot of business with China. But what is the story here? What's going on here? So her father is American, but the reason why I'm so suspicious is Eileen Gu, who's a piece. She's absolutely gorgeous. Her father is a mystery. We don't know who he is. We have no idea. Now, here's the thing. We're living in a post-Epstein world. I heard that somewhere. Yeah. Oh, actually, Candace Owens said that. Because she was basically going like, everything could be true. I made a lot of fun of Candace because as far as the veracity of that statement and what she was implying, I don't know if I agree with the veracity of what she was implying. But for the sake of like having things to talk about and do, I think it's a great premise and a jump-off point. To just go, we're living in a post-Epstein world. Let's just assume everything is as much of a conspiracy as the Epstein stuff. Because it's just funner that way. A few people might get hurt along the way. A few reputations might get hurt. A few horrible things might get said. But we'll all be having a really good time. And let's be honest, we got a lot of time on our hands. So let's just not sit there and go, this is just a boring story of a girl who decided she wanted to compete for China because she wanted to be a little bit more marketable or whatever. And she spent her time in China and she speaks Chinese and her mother's very Chinese, like I said. So it's no big story. Let's not do that because then we have nothing more to talk about. Then I go, okay, that's it. I have to podcast here. So I got to make this bad. And I'm going to. What I suspect is going on here is we have some sort of government petri dish. What do they call that? When you put the sperm and the egg together, a little artificial insemination, creating a 5'9", gorgeous, she's got a 1480 on her SATs. This is the same thing as we're getting into the LeBron James category. The government has been doing this for a little while. Do you think... You think for 1 second, power structures, now that we live in this post-Epstein world, and we can apply it to everything, which makes it funner, like I said. Do you think for 1 second, power structures, governments, or people who make a lot of money in certain industries know that this technology exists and they're not going to use it? They're not going to make a super athlete or something. If you're the NBA, you're not going to get in bed with the United States because you know having great American athletes is that soft power for the United States to export the NBA and get all these Chinese people playing basketball and win the hearts and minds for capitalism. You're not going to make LeBron James. Where is his father? Shaq, they were convincing us some fucking fat cop was his father. He just happens to be some 7'1" guy that can run faster than a 5'9" speed racer. And we're supposed to believe this was a natural occurrence in nature. You ever see a 7-foot guy that can barely walk? You know, look at Wembayana. You don't think the French government had anything to do with making Wembayana? I mean, this stuff can be done. So why would they not do it? Oh, they do it to viruses, but they wouldn't do it to human beings. Oh, let's do gain of function on viruses, but not humans. It's happening. LeBron's an example, never gets hurt, runs like a guard, 6'8", 6'9". I mean, plays for 20 years. Magically, they repair him instantly. The technology for all this stuff is there. Now, this honeypot fucking robot bitch, traitor, was made in a petri dish where they artificially inseminated her, you know, with some like skier genes, right? So it's like they found like the richest, like legacy Connecticut family to some guy who's like fucking great at skiing, who competed at some local championships, and they took his DNA and they saw that, okay, he was a slacker, he smoked a lot of weed, and he got accused of date rape a few times, dropped out of Yale to try to do a startup. So the environment on him failed, but his actual numbers in his DNA code are good. So we're gonna take Jasper's fucking DNA, and we're gonna find a Chinese spy who we caught. We caught her because her mom was some sort of athlete, came over here. Her mother came over here to learn some shit. So we caught her, and we said, this is what we're gonna do. Okay? You're either gonna disappear or you're gonna work for us now. So she said, she saw how much of a better life it is. She's like, I'm gonna do it. So they said, you're gonna be we're gonna put that in you, just like in Hollywood. You're gonna carry that, and that thing is gonna grow up to be a genius at math, be beautiful, and the best skier, whatever they call it, speed skater in the world. One of the best, all Olympic champion, swimsuit model, all this shit. And so that's what it is. That's what you would think if you're not an Alex Jones type thinker like me. So what has happened is the actual opposite. Not of what I said, but what I was implying. I was implying she's a Chinese spy, this little traitor bitch. And that's what the story on the cover is. Oh, she's an American citizen born here, and then she decided she was going to change and compete for China and just become a Chinese citizen. Oh my God, she's a traitor. That's the cover story. What's really going on? First part of what I said. American government created this girl using Jasper's sperm and whatever sticks, figures, however you say her name, however you say her mom's name with pictures. They make this kid. The mom is working for the United States now as a caught honeypot spy. Now they send her to China. So people think, oh, she's not competing for America. But actually, in the bigger game, she is. She is an intel farmer. She's over there getting intel. We are beating them at their own game. They send tons over here. They buy shit up. They're doing whatever they can. But this girl could be a model. I mean, she is just incredible. And then I read about she went to Stanford, and she, like, math was too easy. Like, she was like Mozart with math. And then, like, she's also the best skier in the world. She was created by the American government. That's why this is a complicated tale, because her mother was sent here as a honeypot spy, was caught, and now we are sending the daughter that we made with DNA manipulation and eugenics back over there as a super spy. So we said, I'll see your spy, and the next generation will up it. It's a new iPhone. Her mom was the flip phone version. Now we made an artificial baby that is the iPhone 17. And she's going over there, and she's got incredible ability, and we're going to get to the bottom of a lot of stuff. And look, we're going to soft power her all the way. That's how you matrix it. You get in the belly of the beast and you soft power it. So now she's there speaking like Chinese with an American accent. Then they become fans of her, and they go, I want to see her speaking in English. I want to see her when she goes to America. I want to see, she's in all their advertisements. She's making millions of dollars. all the Chinese girls are gonna be Jess. And let's be honest. This is not politically correct to say, but let's be honest. She's probably the most beautiful Chinese girl I've ever seen. She happens to be not fully Chinese. So that's gonna create some self-hate and want these Chinese girls to not only give guys happy endings, but to sit on the dicks and try to get pregnant and create more Americans. And that's what's going on. There's a bigger story here happening in the Winter Olympics, and there always is, right? It's always about politics. It's always about the geopolitical picture, and that's what's happening. China accuses two-faced skier Eileen Gu over links to, so they're catching wind of it, over links to arrogant French swimmer. Interesting. Interesting, because this swimmer criticized and disrespected the Chinese coach. So you can already see that this is her boyfriend. Look at, she's hooking up with this guy. You can already see she's American. She's rude. So she's American. She's an American girl. She was born and she was raised here. She has a purpose. She's over there working for our government, and you got to salute her. There's a lot of people calling her a traitor or whatever, and I can say this safely on this podcast because not a lot of people will say it, so it's not like the word's getting out. But if you do hear this podcast, just, don't hate her to the level in which you do hate her. Understand she's on a bigger mission from Jesus Christ and the United States government, for God, for country. And it's a very interesting story, because have we ever seen this in the history of the Olympics where someone is a champion level person, is born in the United States, has an actual American father, and then goes and competes for another country? What are we reading here?
This is about her endorsements.
China paid off. So they paid her, right? They paid her for her training, supposedly. She's got a lot of endorsements. Very victorious decision to represent China paid off literally. So she got a lot of money. So even right there, she's doing the American thing by breaking it, becoming a role model, and going, look, I'm just a greedy American pig making this decision for money. And you can smell it, because now I am inundating you with ad after ad. Victoria's Secret, all over the streets of Beijing, everywhere. She is making Chinese culture more American. She's making China American. It's already like halfway there. This is a fight back against the Communist Party's crackdown on capitalism. Others in China have dubbed her the Snow Princess. She is making, holy mackerel. She's linked to more than 20 endorsement deals in China, signing with companies like Bank of China, China Mobile, and she's just everywhere. Her single endorsement deals are about 2.5 mil each. So she's just, for a speed skater who in America, because what happens in America is, you go and you compete in the Olympics in one of these stupid sports that I was just mentioning and why they're here, these legacy sports or whatever. And then you go back to working at Jimmy John's or the mall or wherever you are. There's no future, right? But for this chick, she found a way. And it doesn't hurt that she's a piece of ass. That never hurts. That never hurts at all. So to tie it all together, we're living in a multicultural world. We're living in a multicultural world, and it's less white than it was in America and less white in Europe than it is. And that's just the way it's going to be. That's just the way it is. There's nothing that can be done about that globally. There's just nothing. There's a billion. What would we have to do to catch up to Chinese billion or the Indian billion? What would we even have to do to catch up to South America? What's the population of South America combined? America's 300 million or something, but how many of those are European? 50%? It's just, you're just going to have to accept the fact that race doesn't mean anything. Ethnicity means nothing. You just got to have some sort of nationalism instilled in people, and then you need to just educate people on like what you think is the best. Because this is what it is now. There's no return. The combined population of South America, dwarfs America. It's 140 million more around. What are we, 330 million? Yeah. Here's the kicker too. The 440 million people, like almost, like probably 90% of them are native too. Because who the hell's moving to fucking Uruguay, you know? It's like there's no border crisis in Uruguay for the most part. So what's our native population now? If it's 330 million, our native population is probably like 130, 200, 220. You know? No, because they probably think Native American.
Oh.
You meant like native born population of the United States. Wow, that fucking 3.7 million.
That's bad.
It's not a lot. Approximately 86.9 of the United States is native born. So it's about 225 million. I wasn't that far off. Well, I gave a wide range though. I was like, 130, 200, 225. So 225 million is actually native born. Whereas I would say South America is probably that higher percentage native born. Because there's less people trying to go. There's less people trying to get into Venezuela. More people trying to get out. This throughout history, this just plays a role in how things play out, the movements of peoples and how cultures stamp out other ones, and religions, what takes hold. This is not the first time and people at the time, they thought shit was sweet. Sometimes they think shit is sweet and they side with something, they realize they made a mistake. Sometimes you think shit is sweet when it's not sweet. So the people at the top know this, and they're not doing anything about it because they're all busy trying to just G-chat with Epstein about where's his hose at. They're all hitting him up in the G-chat, not trying to figure out how to make this all balanced and even. 30. So the native-born population of prime working age has remained flat since 2013. 2019, 38.3 million native-born Americans had at least one immigrant parent. These are just pieces of the puzzle, but that's what you have. It 225 million. The rest are immigrants. And Europe, I'm sure it's gotten kind of similar. You know, it's happening all over the world. It's a comfort thing. It's just a comfort thing. And so you can see all these issues kind of just swirling around at the same time. The Olympics brings this to light. These smaller countries are able to compete in these sports nobody really cares about that are very specific to snow, you know. And then you could see the Super Bowl halftime. We had another culture coming in and performing, even though they're American, Puerto Ricans but it's not like full blown. I don't even still understand what is it? Is it territory? What's it called? You're an American citizen if you're Puerto Rican, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? They're a what? The Winter Olympics athlete demographics skew heavily 94.9% white. And that was 2004. It hasn't changed much. You're not going to see too many guys. You're not going to see the Jamaica bobsled team too many times. Yeah, these are sports. Not only are they white sports, they're like kind of ridiculous. It's like kind of, some of them are ridiculous. Curling is just ridiculous to watch. Not to go say the Summer Olympics don't have some ridiculous shit. They had some breakdancing. I mean, what the fuck is that? But a lot of these are just like, there's some ridiculous ones. And I mean, skiing is like, the ski jump and stuff like that. It's like, do you know how rich you got to be to get into a ski lodge? They don't even there's like a whole private community in Montana Like they don't even let people in. It's like you have to be able to be very rich to even learn how to ski, let alone to jump off that thing. So it's not really, it doesn't really represent the globe is what I'm saying. You're not watching running or swimming or, something everyone can do no matter what. You have indoor pool, outdoor pool, this is just a small segment of every country's population who does these winter sports. But we have this Chinese American competing for America. We got Bad Bunny performing in the Super Bowl in Spanish. We got this American star athlete speaking in Chinese, competing for China. You can't stop the momentum of globalization just because of the information flow, the travel flow. We're getting to a point where it's just we're going to have to do something new. We're at the point we got to do something new because we got these old ways in this new world, baby. I have no idea what my Jerry Springer wrap-up moment is. All I know is I fulfilled my commitment to fucking get these ads read. So, much like Eileen Wu, we do it for the money, or maybe I'm a spy for Turkey. Is there a through line here? You decide. Give a shout out, as always, to my favorite website, our longest small business sponsor, if you will, for the free.art. Music in Hawaii. Go check them out. Bands, shows. Also, our most hardcore supporter, we support IndigoLabsAgency.com, Nate Linder. Also, his podcast, Entrepreneurship Unlocked with Nate Linder. Go check it out. He interviews cool people, touring artists, international doctors, CEOs, shit like that. Rebels-Raiders.com. All his gear uses NIR-resistant near-infrared solution-dyed material, which cuts your signature under night vision as far as he is aware. He's the only company publicly posting test data on this very fact. So he's got plate carriers, rapid response medical bags, 2-point rifle sling, reinforced stitching, and lifetime warranty all come standard. Hit rebels-raiders.com and grab your kit before it's gone. PCB Tech Art. Go get your phone charger, your mobile phone charger right now. It goes to your car. It's very cool. You can get it on Amazon, but you can also get it at PCBTechArt.com. Use the code Yannis15 for 15% off and fix your wireless charging issues right now, today, tomorrow, and forever.